Good morning. Today we are indoors and I'm going to start some seeds indoors. I do start some plants from seeds. They are ones that I can't find locally as seedlings, or the varieties I'm just not even able to find seedlings or larger plants. Some of them are just fun cut flowers that are great for flower arrangements or just a little bit of whimsy in your yard. And it's much more economical to start plants from seeds because you could get, out of 50 seeds, you could get, 30 great strong plants that will be able to survive in your yard. But if you were to go out and buy 30 plants or even 30 seedlings, that's cost prohibitive. So seeds are a great way to start plants that you either want to experiment with, something you want to try, you're not sure if it'll work in your area, or just fun varieties that you can't find anywhere else. So there are a lot of great seed providers. I will link a few of them in the description. And I just want to encourage you to try starting seeds, even if you don't have the light set up with the tower. If you have a warm space that has good lighting in your house, that's an area you can start seeds. And I'm gonna get started today. So see how it's still, there's a bunch dry and there's some that's a little bit wet. You really have to mix it in. I'm going to stay here next to the hose until I get it how I want it. Okay, sticking together enough, but it's not dripping wet. It's pre-moistened, as they would say. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Because it will hold its shape, but I wring it and water isn't coming out of it. So that's good. I have gathered some of my previous seed starting tools, kits. One of the options that I like are these small self-contained seed trays. They have their own dome that has a dial on the top that you can open or close. And the seed tray itself, where you plant your seeds, has holes in the bottom so the roots can go down, and then there's a self-contained water reservoir here so it won't drip on anything. The other option is a larger seed tray. These ones, I like the size of each opening, and it also comes with its own bottom tray and a humidity dome. Mine are a little worse for wear. They've been used quite a few times and they don't go bad until they're completely cracked. And another option that I used last year that I liked pretty much was these biodegradable seed starting cups. And what I did with them was, I have extra trays like this. I could fit quite a few of them in here. You get the idea, in here. And then I used one of my domes from a tray that I didn't like. I have seen some of these that are quite a bit smaller, and I don't like them. They're very flimsy, they crack easily and are not easy to reuse, whereas this variety seems to be sturdier. You can tell I've squozen plants out of that one before. But these, I like that they're smaller. I can tuck them around places. I don't have to have such a large space for them as I do for these. So these, I think, are a good option if you're starting just a few seeds in a smaller area. And I just pulled everything I have together. If you don't have any of these, but you do have leftover trays from 6-pack trays from plants you've purchased, that's also a good option for starting seeds. Creating a humidity dome over them might be a little more tricky. We use humidity domes to maintain the moisture level on the plants, on the seedlings, without having to water them too much. But you do end up removing them once everything has sprouted. So you can get creative with bowls or with, a Tupperware box over it, or I've seen all kinds of creative solutions for creating humidity domes. And then we have our seedling mix, which I've pre-moistened here. And the other items I have, of course, are my seeds. Some of these kits come with tags, and I have 2 options for writing on them. I like this the best. It's a garden marker. Tends to last a little bit better than a Sharpie, but in a pinch, Sharpies are fine for marking seedlings because they're not going to be out in the sun. It's their very short-lived time where you're going to be marking them. And I want to encourage you to reuse your markers. You can use them for 2 years, and even if they fade, you can write something over them again. So we're going to get started. I'm going to use this big tray for some Cosmos. I have Afternoon White Cosmo. I have Cupcakes White Cosmos. And Cupcakes Blush Cosmos. This tray I'm going to cover with a little bit of vermiculite, which will help control moisture and yet allow light through. Okay, 1 tray done. Oops, not done. Now it's done. One done. I am going to put Bells of Ireland, Flamingo Feather Celosia, and Cresspedia in this tray. one of the things to think about when you are starting seeds. If you're doing more than one variety in the same tray under the same humidity dome, you want to make sure that their germination days line up. So you don't want to put something that has a 10 to 14 germination day in with something that has a 5-day germination, because you want to keep the humidity dome on until it's germinated. And if some of them are ready and others aren't, you're not going to get the right result. So that's one of the reasons I like these smaller kits, is I can do individual varieties, because I don't start 72 of the same thing, or even 36 of the same thing. I tend to start 12 or 6 or a smaller amount. Okay, so in this one, I'm gonna, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 24, and I have 3 varieties I want to put in here. I have Snapdragon Seeds Apple Blossom. It's one of my favorites. I have a bunch of it in the yard already. Snapdragon Seeds Orange Wonder. I also have quite a bit of this in the yard. And then Geranium Seeds Maverick Apple Blossom. Okay, I'm out of my big trays. I'm going to switch to these little ones, and that's okay, because a lot of these have different germination times. I'm going to fill my trays, see how many I can get, and then we'll decide how many of these we can plant. Feverfew Snowball. Do not cover. Okay, as light aids germination. Okay, so I'm just going to leave them uncovered, and I'm going to close. I like these because I can close or open the dome. So, there we go. Mahogany Splendor Hibiscus. Fama Deep Blue Scabiosa. Silvery Rose Strawflower. Do not cover the seed again. Cat's Apricot Stock. I hope I have some left. This is one of my favorite plants, stock. Let's see, what do we think? Yeah, there's seeds. Okay. King size apricot aster. I'm excited to try this one. 1/8-inch deep sowing. Gray shell pink Clarkia. African marigolds. Moonlight African marigold. that is going to do it for me for today. Started 18 different types of seeds, and I'm really excited to see how they do. I just have them in a warm room in indirect light. You do not want to put seedlings under a dome in direct light. It'll just cook them. So in a warm space with indirect light, but good light. And depending on what you planted, it should germinate as quickly as 4 days. Sometimes it takes 2 weeks to germinate. So I will be checking back in with these, and I expect to have to thin some seedlings. Some of the seeds are so small you can't really tell how many you're planting, or sometimes I just like to seed kind of heavy in each cell. It gives me a better chance of success, and I'd rather have too many plants in a cell and have to thin them out than have a cell that's empty and have to divide seedlings and move them around. That I'm not as handy at that. So that will do it for me for today. It's a beautiful rainy day. I'm loving listening to this rain as I'm working out here, and I just hope you're having a wonderful, beautiful rainy day. I will check in with you next time. Bye-bye.